is Michael Byerly, and I am Principal Clarinetist of the Virginia Symphony Orchestra. Today, I'd like to share with you an exercise that I've been using myself in my own practice. It's a quick exercise for checking how you're using your tongue while playing the clarinet. It's also fun because you get to make an ugly sound on purpose. This exercise should be useful for clarinetists of all skill levels. It might also be useful for saxophonists, since we share a similar single reed mouthpiece, but I'm not sure because I don't play the saxophone at all. As you know, when playing the clarinet, we articulate primarily by touching the reed with our tongue and releasing it to let the instrument sound. Now, everyone has their own mouth shape and their own tongue size, and some people need to find different ways to use their tongues to play the clarinet. But for most people, the most efficient way to articulate is by touching the tip of the tongue to the tip of the reed. I recommend that everyone give it a good try. Why don't you play along with me today? First, I'd like you to pick a note in the low register. I'm going to choose low C, but any note in the low register will work. Now start by playing a nice long tone, taking a deep breath and using a fast, focused airstream. This time, play the same note again, and while you're playing, touch the reed very lightly with your tongue while maintaining a sound. Don't tongue hard enough to stop the sound. You should feel vibration on your tongue, and the sound should become flat, buzzy, and gross, like this. Did you try? That's fun, isn't it? If you're having trouble making this sound, you can try using more air, less embouchure pressure, and a more relaxed touch with your tongue. Let's try it again. Now, I'd like you to think about where on your tongue you're feeling vibration. Is it the tip of your tongue? Or is it the middle of your tongue? Or maybe the underside of your tongue? Is it centered or off to one side or the other? Let's play again, and this time make sure you feel vibration at the very tip of your tongue. Great! Now that you're sure you're using the tip of your tongue, let's make sure you're using the tip of the reed too. It's common for clarinetists to actually be tonguing somewhere on the vamp of the reed instead of the actual tip. Let's play again, and this time see if you can move the tip of your tongue up the reed towards the very tip. Great! Your tongue is now in a good, efficient position for playing the clarinet. If you keep your tongue in this position, you should notice that you can articulate more cleanly and more reliably and with less effort than in other positions. It may feel uncomfortable at first if you're used to tonguing with a different part of your tongue or on a different part of the reed, but I think it's worth the effort of trying to learn to articulate this way. You should also see benefits even in legato passages when you're not tonguing at all. If you can keep the tip of your tongue pointed right at the tip of the reed while you're playing legato, it will help focus your airstream into the mouthpiece, and you should notice better response and a more focused and clear tone. I recommend using this exercise as part of your warm-up at the beginning of your practice session. Just repeat it a few times. Don't spend more than a minute or so on it. It's a great way to make sure you're starting with good tongue position before moving on to your scales, your exercises, and the music you're working on. I also recommend returning to this exercise once in a while during the rest of your practice to check that you're maintaining good tongue position, especially before practicing something with lots of articulation. Don't worry if you find that it's difficult at first to keep your tongue in a new position. Changing the way you use your tongue while playing is something that can take weeks or months of practice before feeling natural. If you're a more advanced clarinetist, you might try playing your scales or even some of your legato etudes with your tongue on the reed. them normally, but keeping your tongue close to the tip of the reed, you should notice improvements to your airstream and tone. You can also try this variation on the exercise. Put a metronome on, around 60. I have my metronome right here. Hold a long tone, alternating 2 beats with a normal clear tone and 2 beats with your tongue on the tip of the reed. Try to use the smallest movement you can with your tongue. This will help reinforce a good tongue position and encourage keeping your tongue relaxed and making small movements. Along with a fast, steady airstream, a relaxed tongue and small tongue movements are key to articulating quickly and cleanly on the clarinet. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that you find this exercise useful in your practice. If you don't, I hope that it was at least fun to try. If you enjoyed this video, check out some of the other videos offered by the Virginia Symphony Orchestra.